The year is 1923. A 21-year-old young man from Chicago named Walt Disney faces one of the most humiliating setbacks of his life. He's broke, and not just a little bit. He's bankrupt. Having poured his heart and soul into his passion for animation and storytelling, he was left with nothing after his first big business venture failed. With no money, no prospects, and seemingly no way forward, most would have given up, but not Walt. Instead of seeing this as the end, he saw it as a new beginning. This is a story of how Walt Disney, bankrupt at 21, went on to create one of the most successful and beloved companies in the world, the Walt Disney Company. Walt Disney's journey began long before his first venture into animation. Born on December 5, 1901, in Chicago, Walt was raised in a working-class family. His father, Elias Disney, was a strict, hard-working man who struggled to provide for his family, moving them several times in search of better work. It was during these childhood years that Walt first developed his love for drawing and art. He would spend hours sketching, often drawing cartoons of his family and the world around him. His first public art job came at the age of 7 when he sold his drawings of neighbors' pets to make extra money. However, despite his early talent and love for drawing, Walt's path to success was far from smooth. As a young man, he dreamed of becoming an artist or animator, but the road to realizing that dream was filled with obstacles. At 16, he dropped out of high school to pursue a career in art. Walt moved to Kansas City and took up various odd jobs to survive. He worked as a commercial artist and even served in the Red Cross during World War I, driving an ambulance in France. But he always returned to his first love, animation. In 1920, Walt decided to open his own animation studio, Laugh-O-Gram Studios, in Kansas City. The business started out with a bang, attracting attention from local investors and providing Walt with the opportunity to create short animated films. His vision was clear. He wanted to tell stories that could entertain and captivate audiences through animation. Walt believed that animation had the potential to change the entertainment industry forever. However, despite his enthusiasm and creativity, Laugh-O-Gram Studios was struggling financially. Walt had made a significant investment in state-of-the-art animation equipment, but the company was plagued by poor financial management and a lack of experience. Soon, the studio fell into debt, and by 1923, Walt Disney had no choice but to declare bankruptcy. At just 21 years old, he found himself completely broke, with his business failing and no clear direction in sight. But instead of giving in to despair, Walt saw his bankruptcy as an opportunity to start fresh. He left Kansas City and set out for Hollywood, California, determined to make a name for himself. Armed with nothing but his talent, determination, and a small amount of money he managed to scrape together, Walt moved to California with a new dream in mind. He was ready to take on the world of animation once again, but this time, he would do it on his own terms. In 1923, Walt Disney partnered with his brother Roy Disney to form the Disney Brothers Studio. They pooled their resources, with Walt focusing on animation and Roy handling the business side. Walt's first big break came when he signed a contract with a distributor named M.J. Winkler. This contract allowed Walt to produce a series of short films featuring a character named Oswald the Lucky Rabbit, which became a hit. Oswald was a precursor to what would eventually become the world-famous Mickey Mouse. However, in another stroke of misfortune, Walt lost the rights to Oswald. In 1928, while Walt was traveling to New York to negotiate a new contract, he discovered that Universal, the distributor that had been backing his Oswald films, had taken control of the character. This was a huge blow for Walt, but he wasn't one to let setbacks keep him down for long. Walt returned to California, determined to create a new character that would be all his own. Drawing inspiration from the success of Oswald, he began working on a new character, a mouse. He named the character Morty the Mouse at first, but it wasn't until he renamed the character Mickey Mouse that everything changed. Mickey Mouse was born in 1928, and Walt Disney's fate would never be the same. The first appearance of Mickey was in the short film Steamboat Willie, which premiered on November 18, 1928, at the Colony Theater in New York. The film was revolutionary, combining synchronized sound with animation, something that had never been done before. It was an instant hit, and Mickey Mouse quickly became a cultural sensation. Mickey Mouse was more than just a character. He became the face of a new era in animation and entertainment. Walt's vision of using animation to tell stories create characters, and bring joy to audiences was beginning to take shape. The success of Mickey Mouse transformed the Disney Brothers studio into a major player in the entertainment industry. As Mickey Mouse gained popularity, Walt began to expand his empire. In 1929, he introduced Mickey's Christmas Carol, which featured a synchronized soundtrack and was one of the first animated films to incorporate music. Walt's commitment to innovation and quality made him stand out in a competitive market, and soon, the world began to take notice. In the early 1930s, Walt faced numerous challenges as he continued to build his company. The Great Depression hit the world hard, and the entertainment industry was no exception. But despite the economic downturn, Walt's determination and his drive for perfection kept Disney on track. In 1932, he introduced Mickey's Christmas Carol, a groundbreaking film that will forever change the way animation was perceived. By 1937, Walt had already revolutionized the world of animation with his first feature-length animated film, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. It was a massive gamble for Walt and his team, as no one had ever attempted a full-length animated film before. The film was a critical and commercial success, and it marked the beginning of the Disney legacy that we know today. In the years that followed, Walt Disney's empire grew exponentially. He introduced new characters, created a theme park in Anaheim, California, Disneyland, and revolutionized the world of animation, filmmaking, and entertainment. But despite his immense success, Walt never forgot his humble beginnings. He had once been bankrupt, broke, and seemingly out of options, yet he had turned everything around by following his passion and his vision. Today, the Walt Disney Company is one of the largest and most successful entertainment conglomerates in the world. It encompasses movies, TV, theme parks, and countless other forms of media, with Disney characters being known and loved by millions around the globe. The company has expanded far beyond Walt Disney's original vision, but the core values of creativity, innovation, and storytelling remain the same. Walt Disney's journey from bankruptcy at 21 to becoming the founder of Disney is a story of perseverance, passion, and vision. It is a reminder that failure is not the end. It's often just the beginning of something greater. Through his struggles, losses, and setbacks, Walt proved that no dream is too big, and no failure is too great to overcome. Walt's legacy is alive today, not only in the movies and parks that bear his name, but in the millions of people who continue to be inspired by his story. His drive to create and his commitment to innovation changed the entertainment industry forever, and his story serves as an inspiration to all who dare to dream big. So, the next time you watch a Disney movie or visit a Disney park, remember the incredible journey that led to the creation of this iconic brand. It all started with a bankrupt 21-year-old who refused to give up, and his story is proof that with passion, perseverance, and a little bit of magic, anything is possible. And that's the story of how Walt Disney went from bankrupt at 21 to founding one of the most influential companies in the world. A true testament to the power of persistence, vision, and dreaming beyond your limits.